Hello again from my front porch. It's going to be a beautiful day here in Iowa today, and I mean that sincerely. I mean, the sun's already out. I mean, it's a little briskness in the air right now. I can even out in the yard, I can see just a little layer of frost that accumulated overnight. But the weather prediction is it's supposed to get up into the 60s today. Yay! That's much better than what we've had recently. And it's at 50s, 60s for a few days here. And so I'm hoping that one of these evenings here, I'm going to make it down and get my burn pile taken care of. That'll be good. But what I want to talk to you about today was something it's actually very, very important. It's the concept of voting in general. There are a lot of people who are turned off on the whole political process and that they don't feel like their vote makes a difference, your voice doesn't matter, that whoever gets elected is going to do whatever they're going to do anyway. There's hardly any difference between the two parties anymore, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And the reality is there's a lot of truth to all of those frustrations. I don't argue with any of those. In fact, I grow increasingly disheartened by what I see happen after we elect individuals, whether Democrat or Republican, and then they go into office and then, it's like they just completely lose. They become somebody totally different from who that person was on the campaign trail. And they just assume we're going to forget everything that they said and promised. So as someone who actually actively follows politics, who actively follows current events, I get frustrated by those things just like anybody, maybe even more so than most people, because unlike a lot of people who will be like, what? I kind of remember something. No, I don't really. I remember what that person said 4 years ago. I remember what they, and then when nobody else is upset about the disparities, I'm like, what? Anyway, all of that is allowed to happen when we, the people, don't hold politicians accountable. Well, how do we hold them accountable? By voting. If somebody is in office doing things that you don't like, then don't re-elect them. Don't let them get back in. And if someone's in office that you do like, if you think they're doing a good job, maybe you don't agree 100% with what they do, but most of what they do you agree with, then they need your support. Don't sit on the sideline and not support that individual. Bottom line is, you need to vote because your vote does indeed count. Now, there's all these things. You can look them up online, Google them yourself about, one vote makes a difference. All these examples of a time where, one vote or a very small number of votes decided this, decided that. We don't need to look any farther back than the last presidential election. Donald Trump was elected president of the United States by scoring victories in some states where nobody expected he was actually going to win. And even though he didn't win by much, he did win. Now, there's people sat on the sideline. People voted for other candidates, third-party candidates they shouldn't have voted for. They should have voted for Hillary instead or whatever. No, I'm not sending that message out. Vote for whoever you want to. I don't vote a straight party ticket. And in fact, I don't vote just to the two major parties. I will vote for libertarian candidates. I'll vote for independent candidates. Whoever I feel like I can support, that's who I will vote for. And people will mock that and they will say, oh, you're just throwing your vote away. No, I'm not. I'm voting my principle. I'm voting what I am comfortable voting. I am not going to be bullied into conforming to some fictitious two-party system simply because that's what the majority of people have been trained to do. I will vote my conscience and have no regret whatsoever about that at all. The point is, though, I will vote. And in fact, in this case, I will not just vote when the time comes. I voted yesterday. Early voting is open everywhere. Now, the different times and rules and guidelines apply in every state, sometimes even by the county or the city level. But early voting is now open, and if you're at all concerned about, well, I don't know if I'm going to have time to vote on election day, the lines get long, and I can't take time off for work, don't hassle with it then. You can do absentee ballots, You can also do early voting. Now, here in Des Moines, Iowa, I went down to the county auditor's office just off of downtown Des Moines. They're on 2nd Avenue. And I stopped in, and in just, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe 10, no more than 10 for sure, but very few minutes, I went in and I did my vote and did my voting, and it's sealed in an envelope and filed away, and on election night, my ballot will be counted with everybody else's. So I've done it. I've now done my civic duty. I have voted. Now, I thought about putting the sticker on for the video here, but you know what? I think I'm going to save it until election day itself. And I'm going to wear it on election day just to remind, even though it says I voted today, and that won't be true on election day because I voted yesterday. Still, I'm going to wear this on election day just to remind people that I run across on election day to get out and vote if they haven't already done so then. But I'm showing it to you right now because I want you to recognize that you can vote right now. You can go out and you can go out, look up online where your voting options are, for where you can do your early voting, or even how you can request an absentee ballot, and you can do that. Now, why am I spending so much time on this? Am I trying to make a political statement? Am I trying to do it? I'm no more political statement than to simply point out that we have an incredible privilege, not just a right. We have an incredible privilege to be able to vote. There are people around the world who literally lay down their lives to try to fight for that kind of voice in their government. And we can say, well, you know, does it really matter if I vote? Does it, you know, are they going to do the same stuff when they get in office? Some of that is going to happen, yeah. Some of it is. I'm not going to lie. But that is not a reason for us to disengage from the process. Because when we disengage, when we stop paying attention, when we stop calling them out for things that they do that they shouldn't be doing, and when we stop holding them accountable at the ballot box, then those with less than noble intent can do whatever they want, because nobody's stopping them. Well, coming up in less than a month is your chance to stop them if you feel the need. Either stopping by removing somebody from office or stopping by putting somebody else in office that you prefer. Or maybe you like who is in your office representing you right now and you want to put a stop to the challenges against that person. Whatever the case may be, find who you want to support and why. Don't just vote against somebody. That's sad and pathetic, and that's unfortunately the direction that the spin doctors would like to head us. Not the music group, but the political spinners that they would like to steer us to. There's so much negative campaigning. That's what it's all about. Very few politicians anymore run campaign ads that say, "This is who I am, and this is why I want you to vote for me. Thank you." That's a rarity. Now, when you watch stuff from campaigns, or especially other groups supporting candidates, it's all their opponent did. Don't vote. And I don't know. That just doesn't appeal to me. That's I don't care about you telling me about your opponent. I want you to tell me about you. Tell me why I should get out and vote for you. Tell me what you're going to do. And so if I don't feel like a candidate does a good job of giving that message, then they're probably not going to get my vote. But regardless, I do vote. I will vote. I will not sacrifice that. I will not forfeit that. I will not silence my own voice at the ballot box simply because I'm unhappy with how some parts of the government process, the political process works. When I do that, then I am just giving away my power and my authority over the process. And I refuse to do that. I encourage you and I challenge you to not do that either. So whether you do it today, whether you do it next week, whether you do it in absentee, or whether you stand in line on election day itself, make sure you vote. And with that, I'll see you next time from my front porch.